Hey, BookTube Sean here, coming to you with my first official video of the new year. I had a video go up on January 1st, but I had recorded it probably a week earlier. So this is the first time I've had time to sit down and record in 2018. So Happy New Year. Welcome to all my new subscribers. Through all the small booktuber love that's been going on Twitter the past couple of days due to the YouTube partner program changes. I have ended up with about a little over 40 new subscribers at this point, and so definitely welcome to all of you. I'm glad you found me. I'm happy you're here, and I hope you like what you see and continue to stick with me because I'd love to end up talking to y'all in the comments. So, without further ado, this is going to be a mid-month check-in / Friday reads video. I'm going to let you know what I have finished up to this point and then what I'm currently working on. So, and I think I'm going to try to do Friday reads more often. This will be the first time I've done it. When I was doing weekly updates, it was happening on Sundays. But I think I'm gonna try to go back to that some. Try to talk to you about what I got going on weekly. But anyway, without further ado, I apparently like to say that. First thing I finished in the beginning of the month was I finally finished The Stone Sky by N.K. Jemisin. Those of you who have been with me for a while know that I started this in August when it came out. No other book was going to exist for me once I got my hands on this, and then life happened and I went into a kind of a reading slump. And I finally got back to it last month. I was making a push to try and finish it before the year ended, because I really kind of wanted to finish it in 2017, but I had to do too much adulting, and I didn't get it finished until January 2nd or 3rd. But so satisfied with how this trilogy ended. You guys know, if you've been with me since I started my channel back in June, that I love this trilogy. And yeah, I mean, I can't say too much about it because, like, anything I said about this would spoil the other two books if you haven't read them. So all I can say is it is a strong finish to a very strong series. So yeah, I would not be surprised at all if she got nominated for the Hugo again. So, yeah, if you have not checked out the Broken Earth trilogy, I highly encourage you to do so. The next three things I finished are all graphic novels. And they are the graphic novels that are part of my Book Riot Read Harder challenge. So I have the graphic novels done of those. The first one was Lock and Key by Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez. This is a horror graphic novel. I've been had a few friends tell me that I should pick this up, so I finally did. And it's about a father of the Locke family. He gets murdered, and the family moves to a place called Key House, where the father grew up in New England, in a town called Lovecraft. And the key house has its own secrets. Like, there's a door that only your spirit can pass through. Your body can't, so your spirit leaves your body, and your body kind of looks dead behind you. And there's this spirit in a well who is looking for the key to anywhere, and that's really a lot of what I got out of it. Gabriel Rodriguez's artwork was fantastic. There's just a creepiness to his drawings that really helped set the mood of the story. And Joe Hill's story was good, but slow. If I had been reading this as single issue comics, reading one, waiting for the next one to come out, I don't think I would have made it as far as these 6 issues that are collected in this graphic novel. However, reading it as a graphic novel with an arc beginning to end, I think helped me get through that. Because by the end of the graphic novel, I was intrigued enough that I want to pick up volume 2. So, good as a graphic novel, but had it been single issue comics, I don't think I would have continued on. The second graphic novel I finished was Big Mushy Happy Lump by Sarah Anderson. This is the second volume of the Sarah Scribbles stories. Or not stories, but the Sarah Scribbles comic strips. This is the second collection of them. And I guess there's a third one coming out in a couple of months too, so that's something to look forward to. Because I really loved... I actually liked this one better than I liked the first one. This one, the second half of the collection, had a memoir aspect to it that talked about... her life as an introvert with social anxiety, and I just really, really related to that because and I know several of us in the book community are introverts with social anxiety, so it was really nice to see that laid out in a comic form that was respecting that struggle, and not poking fun at it. So yeah, I liked this one more than I liked Volume 1. And then the third graphic novel I finished was Black Panther: A Nation Under Our Feet, Volume 1, written by Ta-Nehisi Coates and artwork by Brian Stelfreeze. And this was for, I should say the Lock and Key was for the comic not published by Marvel, DC, or Image prompt of the challenge. This is published by IDW Publishing. Big Mushy Happy Lump was for a comic written and illustrated by the same person. And Black Panther is for written or illustrated by a person of color. And this is written and illustrated by people of color. So, I didn't really know anything about Black Panther before going into this, and I think that was a mistake. Brian Stelfreeze's artwork is fantastic, just absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed his artwork, but honestly, I still, after reading Volume 1, which is issues 1 through 4, I really don't quite know what it's about other than some sort of uprising against the king. I read later that what I was reading has the people, and what I thought was just, the people of the country rising up against the king, who is Black Panther, King of Wakanda, I should say. I thought it was just the people, the people of the land were rising up against the king, and I read later that the people is actually a terrorist organization in the comic, and I did not get that at all when I was reading it. I must have missed something along the line. There was some miscommunication along the line. But what I had more of a problem with was I didn't really learn anything about Black Panther in this. So I don't think it is something for people like me who really was was unfamiliar with the Black Panther character. I think this comic or this graphic novel really assumed some prior knowledge of Black Panther, because I didn't get a lot. I didn't get to really know him a lot in this, so that was my problem with it. So I didn't enjoy it as much as I think I could have if I knew anything about the character beforehand. So that's what I've read this month. So I'm up to 4 this month so far. I've got a few things that I'm reading. So this would be the Friday Reads portion of the video. First off, I'm reading Pillars of the Earth and I'm buddy reading that with Robin at Driftless Reader, who, if you haven't checked her channel out, you should definitely do so, and I will link it below. And I'm really enjoying that. I'm about a little over 300 pages into that. I've kind of got to a decent stopping point, and I was focusing on some other things this week, but I'll be picking it back up Sunday or Monday. I'll be getting back into it. Then I'm also reading The Changeling by Victor LaValle, and I'm reading this as part of Russell at Ink and Paper Blog. He's doing a around the world in 1,000 words project, and what he's doing is reading a book from an author of 6 of the 7 continents. The only continent he's not doing is Antarctica, because there's really not anything coming out of Antarctica. So the first book was a North American author, and so he picked The Changeling by Victor LaValle, and he has a Goodreads group where he's putting up discussion topics, and he has asked, anybody who wants to do this with him is welcome to read along and discuss on his Goodreads group. And I will link the video where he announced this project below. But it sounded like a cool thing to do, and I really wanted to read The Changeling too, so I took it as a great opportunity to do that, and I'm really enjoying it. It's been kind of a slow burn, which I don't mind slow burns in books. I didn't really get into any kind of really fantastical content until halfway through the book. The first part of the book, there's a couple of creepy things that happen, but it's a pretty straight story for the first half of the book. And now in the second half, we're getting into some magical stuff. So I don't even really know how to describe the book. Victor LaValle is known as a horror author, but I don't know that I'd really call this a horror book. But it gets put in that category because it's by Victor LaValle. But it's referred to as a dark fairy tale, is what it's referred to in other reviews. But I'm just going to read this for you real quick, because it's easy. Even though I've read 75% of the book now, I think this sums it up better than I can right now, especially since I haven't finished yet and I don't want to assume stuff, I guess. I don't know. But it says, when Apollo Kagwa's father disappeared, all he left his son were strange recurring dreams and a box of books stamped with the word improbabilia. Now Apollo is a father himself, and he and his wife Emma are settling into their new lives as parents. Exhaustion and anxiety start to take their toll. Apollo's old dreams return, and Emma begins acting odd. Irritable and disconnected from their new baby boy at first, Emma seems to be exhibiting signs of postpartum depression, but it quickly becomes clear that her troubles go even deeper. Before Apollo can do anything to help, Emma commits a horrific act beyond any parent's comprehension and vanishes seemingly into thin air. Thus begins Apollo's odyssey through a world he only thought he understood, to find a wife and child who are nothing like he'd imagined. His quest, which begins when he meets a mysterious stranger who claims to have information about Emma's whereabouts, takes him to a forgotten island, a graveyard full of secrets, a forest where immigrant legends still live, and finally back to a place he thought he had lost forever. This captivating retelling of a classic fairy tale imaginatively explores parental obsession, spousal love, and the secrets that make strangers out of the people we love the most. It's a thrilling and emotionally devastating journey through the gruesome legacies that threaten to devour us and the homely, messy magic that saves us if we're lucky. So according to this, it's a fairy tale retelling too, retelling of a classic fairy tale. Honestly, and I can't figure out what fairy tale it's a retelling of. So if anybody knows, please let me know in the comments. I would love to know what I mean, I could Google it too, but I just haven't. But I'm really enjoying it. I'm hoping to be able to finish that up. Today, as you're seeing this, I got a convention I'm going to this weekend. I'd like to get it finished up before I head off for the convention. And the other thing I am almost finished with is Nosferatu by Joe Hill, and that has been a very loose buddy read with James Chatham. He's done with the book. He finished it before he went back to school last week. This is a creepy novel about a place called Christmas Land. I am about 66% of the way through it. I'm listening to the audio, which Kate Mulgrew narrates, and she is fantastic as the narrator of this. Her voice for the antagonist character, Charlie Manx, is just bone chilling at times. So I'm really enjoying this book. So that is what two books that I'm close to the end of. One I probably won't finish this month. I'll probably will finish sometime in February, because it's Pillars of the Earth is a chunkster. The only other thing I've been picking at, I've read one story, but Robots versus Fairies. This is a short story collection where some of the authors take the side of the fairies and write stories about fairies, and other authors write stories about robots. And it includes Catherine Valente, John Scalzi, Ken Liu, Shauna McGuire, which hers is the story I've read, and it was really good. Is called Build Me a Wonderland, and it's about what really is going on at your wondrous theme park, and how those wonders are really created. Really great story. But yeah, it's who else is in this? Jim C. Hines. I don't hear a lot about Jim C. Hines on BookTube, but he's, as far as I know, a fairly well-known fantasy author. But I don't hear a lot about him on BookTube. But for me, he's a local author. He lives in Michigan. He's actually going to be several of these authors are going to be at the convention I'm going to this weekend. I'm actually going to get this signed by the editors and John Scalzi and Sarah Gailey. Max Gladstone. Annalee Newitz is going to be at the convention. She's got a story in there. She's going to be at the convention I'm going to this weekend. So I'm going to get this signed by a lot of the authors that are in here, which I'm really excited about. But yeah, and then Sunday, I am starting Before They Are Hanged by Joe Abercrombie, the second book of the First Law trilogy. I'm going to be buddy reading that with Julie at A Girl in a Book. So that's what I've got going on reading wise. How about you guys? What have you been reading? Have you read anything that I've mentioned? What did you think of it? Just let me know what you've been up to in the comments. I'm still no better at closing out these videos, I swear. I don't know if I'm ever going to get good at closing out these videos. But yeah, again, thank you. If you've made it to the end of this video, thank you for that. And again, thank you to all my new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who has been with me from the beginning and joined anywhere along the way. I appreciate every single one of you, and I will see you in my next video.